Hi, everyone, and welcome. I am Jamie Bates, and today I wanted to take a few moments to talk to you about a lockdown situation or a situation where you find yourself really feeling drained or out of it or foggy or not able to concentrate as you're doing these different clearings that we're working with. And I wanted to take a few moments to just talk to you about that, and just so we can get clear and so we know what to do if we find ourselves in a lockdown situation. So for me, doing these clearings and really even sharing these clearings with all of you as we go through these different programs or whatever it is that you're doing with me, I would like you to get that part of what we're going through here is these clearings, working in your energy, your space, and your consciousness is one of those things that is essentially clearing you from the polarity of this reality, right? But what it's really doing, even if you're not playing in the polarity group, even if you're doing other things with me, is essentially what's going on here is you are removing yourself from the matrix system, from the control system of this reality. When we release things from our energy, our space, and our consciousness, we're releasing lifetimes of embodiments of sticking points. So it's like we have lifetimes of contracts, of agreements, of all of these things our infinite being, whether agreed to or was programmed with or whatever it may be. So when you are really diving in and you're removing a lot of this stuff and you're doing these clearings, especially towards the beginning, and even for myself, occasionally I still get wrapped up in something. What I find what happens is, and without getting too like conspiracy theory control-y with it, I just want you to get that like you're releasing yourself from a system that of limitation that is here that we have all bought into, that now it's time to change that, and we're waking up to that, right? Well, there's certain energies that come up that I'll say, I don't really know if it's that they don't really want us to look at it, but there's a whole paradigm of control that still exists, that whether it's, there's an aspect of self-control, because we are infinite beings and we did choose to come here, right? We did choose embodiment. And so we did buy into a lot of those limitations, and we did agree to have a lot of those limitations downloaded. And then there's that other aspect of the control system as it be and this reality that, there's lots of structures, constructs, adaptations, mutations that want us to have the illusion that we can't have control of our own universe, right? So it steps in and it's kind of like, no, you can't do that, you can't be that, you can't choose that, and it kind of has that vibe with it. So what I guess, so all the shaky stupidity, unconsciousness, anti-consciousness, energy, fog around all of this, 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 and everything all of that is, let's just choose to remove all of that from all of our universes, and let's just choose that now, please. And vaporize, 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 vaporize. So what I want us to get here is, as we break free and as we remove this stuff from our energy, space, and consciousness, oftentimes there will be days where you feel really light and really free, and then all of a sudden this like weird feeling starts to creep back in, and you start to feel this constriction, and you start to feel this like fog rolling in, and you kind of start to feel disoriented, and then you go through this space where it's like, you have a few days of like grogginess or yuckiness or just not feeling you or whatever it is, and then it kind of seems to lift. And that's what I'm talking about right there. That grogginess and that ewiness and that stuff that starts to roll in. So as soon as you start to become aware of that, what I want you to acknowledge is that's not you and that's not yours. Okay? None of that's yours. So what we're going to spend some time doing when you start to feel that is, first and foremost, one of the sayings that I would like for you to have as your best friend is all of the shikyu, stupidity, unconsciousness, anti-consciousness energy fog around all of this. I want you to use that all of the time, and then I just want you to vaporize it. Okay, vaporize, 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 vaporize. Whenever you don't have clarity about a subject, whenever you're feeling foggy about something, you can't feel the heavier light, you can't really get into place about what's going on here. You want to clear the shikyu, all of the shikyu, stupidity, unconsciousness, anti-consciousness, energy fog around all of it. Yes. Then from there, if you're still feeling that, if you're still really, really, really feeling this yucky, ooey feeling, what I want you to do is I want you to make sure that you're expanding out. Make sure that you're as big as the earth, you're as big as the universe, the multiverse, and you're going, let's beyond that. So you're going to times that. Let's times that by 1,000,000. Times that by 1,000,000 again. Times that by 1,000,000 again. Times that by 1,000,000 again. Bigger, faster, bigger, faster, bigger, faster, bigger, faster, bigger, faster, all the way out to the space of who you be as the infinite being that you be. Remember, you are an infinite being. If you get contracted into somebody's point of view and you're playing in this really tiny little small court, then you're going to feel that yucky contraction. You're going to feel tired. You're going to feel groggy. You're going to feel yucky. So make sure that you're expanding yourself out on a regular basis. I expand myself out. Sometimes there's days I do it 9, 10, 12, 15 times, okay? Because what I know about energy is there's a resonance frequency. If somebody has a really loud resonance frequency and you go to Myers, let's say, or anywhere, a supermarket, or you're somewhere, or even if you just see somebody on Facebook or whatever it is, social media, and they're really contracted and they're really stuck in their points of view, many times, if we've had that point of view stored before, we will frequency match that. And then all of a sudden we're stuck in all of their crap, right? So expand yourself out. Make yourself bigger and faster than everyone around you. And then I would like to invite you to do what I do, which is like, what I like to kind of say is like a funnel. It's not really a funnel. No, it's more like a vortex. Okay, so I start around me. After I expand myself out, I start around me, and I start this like funnel energy, this vortex energy that starts with me, and it goes all the way out, and it's going around and around and around, and it's going bigger and faster and 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 bigger and faster, all the way out, and it's encompassing my whole space. And what that funnel is actually doing is it's releasing me from anybody else's universe. So anywhere I've bought into somebody else's universe, anywhere I'm playing in somebody else's universe, anywhere I am not being present in my own universe. So it's actually releasing everywhere I am in anybody else's universe. And I choose that, using this vortex, to remove me from all other universes but my own. So this vortex goes out and it goes bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, all the way out to the truth space of me, releasing me from anyone's point of view or anyone's universe for all eternity. And I say that often. I remind myself that I am the master of my universe, and I get to decide. And so when I choose to be removed from everyone else's universe around me, what I'm essentially doing is I'm choosing that right that moment, and I'm releasing myself by my choice. Yes. Now, if you're feeling a little dizzy from the vortex, you can slow it down. So what I like to do is initially I like to make it really, really fast, and I like to go all the way out. Then I like to slow the vortex down once I've removed everyone's universe, and I like to slow the vortex down to my resonance frequency, the frequency of who I be, and I allow my vortex to move and shift and change into the frequency of who I be as the infinite being that I be. Yeah, there you go. And what I find is if I remind myself to keep on my vortex, and if I remind myself to keep it at the frequency of who I be as the infinite being that I be, what I find is it is kind of like a repellent. Because if there's not someone that vibrates at the same frequency that you vibrate, which from my interesting point of view, we all have our own frequency vibration, our own resonance, right? There are people who have a resonance that may be really close to you. But when you're being the space of you as the infinite being that you be, there's a real familiar hum to that, and there's quite a space of ease that brings when you're standing in that. So yeah, I just like to stand in the ease, in the space of who I be as the vortex I am, as the infinite being that I be. From there, I oftentimes like to take my vortex and even go through and allow my vortex to freeze any beings in any of my universes, all the way out to the infinite being that I be, and I'm just going to freeze with my vortex. I'm just going to freeze it, freeze them, 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 freeze them. Freeze them, 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 and then I'm just going to choose. I am now choosing to remove all of the beings from all of my universes, and I am just going to choose that now, please. I choose that now, and then I just banish, vanquish, 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 banish, vanquish. And then I just vaporize, 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 vaporize. So I remove anything that they had with them, anything that comes along, and then and just go right back to that vortex of who I be as the infinite being that I be, in the space of my universe, all alone, just me. Then again, I have control of my universe. I have the space of who I be as the infinite being that I be. Yeah, that. So if you find yourself in a place where you're feeling groggy or you're feeling kind of out of it, you're feeling this energy fog moving in, I invite you to use these tools. And sometimes, depending on what it is I've been playing in, it may take me some vigilance to really stay in that space for the day. Once I get back that space of who I be, I'm good. So if you find yourself in that space, which I think most of us do in any modality that you're playing in, there's a certain space of reintegration that happens after you have cleared stuff. You know, there's certain places where I do believe that we have agreed on such a dynamic level to retain that limitation that even when we first remove it, it takes a little while for that to be it takes a while to choose all of the different systems and constructs and structures and agreements and everything that is holding that limitation into place, whatever that may be for you. So Yeah. So if you find yourself in that place where you're feeling that space of like, I want to sleep for 3 days, please clear. Go back to being the master of your universe. Remove all of the beings or energies in there that are not yours. All of the universes that you may bought into. All of the beings that may have came in to try to reintegrate that space, whether they're beings that you agreed with or whether they're beings um, of the system as a whole. Either way, it doesn't really matter to me. It's more of the energy of I am the master of my universe and I get to decide. And so anywhere I am re-resonating with any frequencies that don't work for me, I just do these techniques, and that really helps me get back to the space of me as the infinite being that I be, and takes me further into what's next and what can I choose now. So thank you, and I hope that you have a great day. Bye.